Welcome to this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters, the podcast where we chart the cinematic legacy of the classic monsters. I'm John Campbell. With me, as always, Brendan Jones.
Hello, listeners. Hello, John Campbell. And John, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Figaro?
Figaro.
Figaro? That'll mean nothing to our listeners because if they were smart, they did not watch part one of Frankenstein, the true story.
Well, that's the big thing this week, right? Is we've seen versions of the Frankenstein story, but finally, Brendan, after all these movies, we are getting the true story of what really happened with Dr. Frankenstein and his creation.
I'm already taking us down a tangent. Now, you watched probably some MTV's The Real World.
Of course.
Okay. If you go all the way back to, I believe, the second season, which was L.A., I believe was second.
I think that's right. It was New York, then L.A., right?
Right. They would have this thing where they all say the opening of like, this is the true story of 7 strangers, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And they cut between all the people saying it. Mm-hmm. And for the rest of time, because I used to watch that, there was the country boy Hick in the LA episode. And so they'd be like, this is the true story. And they would do an audio cut to him going, true story. So every time I hear that now, doesn't matter what context, that's the way I hear it. Yeah. So this, every time it's like Frankenstein, the true story, I expect some guy to go, true story. And they didn't.
No, they didn't, unfortunately.
They didn't, unfortunately. But this is now the truest of the stories. Mm-hmm. I also have a question for you because we watched... I mean, we both watched the same thing, but you watched it from a different source.
Yeah.
And so my question to you is, did yours start with the intro from Mr. James Mason?
No, it did not. That is only available on the home video release. I was watching...
Or the version I pirated.
yeah. I mean, which is probably the version of that where I am watching, I think, a version that actually aired on television or something like that.
Oh, no, the one that's on the DVD is exactly that, too. But it's just that they have this special
I'm watching intro. But I read that there was a introduction in the trivia. They said that was added for the home video release.
Oh, interesting. That must have been weird to go back and do that because really it looks like a TV promotional spot. Mm-hmm. He's like going, yes, I play Polidori in this story, but I'm first going to tell you a little bit about the woman who created Frankenstein. And then he walks up to a grave. He goes, I thought you would be interested to see this. Okay. This is her grave.
Here's the thing. I want to. This was, I guess it was on the Wikipedia that I read this because it's not on IMDb. It points out that is not her grave.
I know. That's what I also love. Is that he's like, I want to show you where she was buried, and then you find out in the trivia, oh no, that wasn't even it.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, fuck you guys. What was the point?
The DVD release included at the beginning a short introduction featuring James Mason wandering through St. John's Wood churchyard in London. Yep. He suggests that this is where Mary Shelley is buried, which is incorrect. She's in fact buried in the family plot in Dorset, despite standing beside a gravestone bearing her name. Yeah. So where that came from, I don't know. Props.
Could be.
Yeah. So I'm glad you were able to see that because I was reading about that and it was not on the version.
It's really hokey. And then it cuts to this is what you'll be seeing soon. Then it cuts to
tonight on a Frankenstein.
Trailer. Yes, and including part 2, and I was like, dude, don't show me shit. Don't jump ahead.
Spoilers. Hey, I mean, apparently because he's not in part 1, I'm still waiting on Tom Baker in this thing.
And I'm still waiting on Jane Seymour.
I was surprised that Jane Seymour is not Elizabeth.
Yeah, I was too, though. I do like, what's her name? Something Paget. Well, you've got the IMDb open. What's her name?
I do here. Nicola Paget.
Nicola Paget.
Nicola Paget.
Yeah, she's great. I mean, she's very fine.
Everybody in this is good. Like, everyone is a good actor in this thing.
We really do need to state that, underscore it. They did some fine casting.
Yeah.
There's good people in this. They are given good things to say. and unfortunately, they are given nothing to back any of that shit up.
Well, usually you're the background expert on
Yeah,
the show, but
this time I just went in
did. I mean,
blind.
there's only much like a lot of the stuff we cover these days. There's not much out here about this, but I do want to talk about the script a little bit because it is written by the great Christopher Isherwood.
Yes,
who wrote a number of great things, I mean, he wrote Cabaret, for God's sake.
he wrote the novel that Cabaret's based on.
Yes, I should say yes.
Right,
but
because it was kind of a biographical thing. He was the Michael York character in his real life.
Right.
Yeah, he did a lot of. I mean, he's a great novelist, but he also did screenwriting. Yeah. And was a very proud and out gay man at a time when it wasn't that normal to be that normal, right. Accepted, I should say.
Well, so anyway, he and Don Bachardy,
his longtime companion.
Yep,
they co-wrote this.
Yeah, who is still with us, by the way, Bachardy.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he's 87.
Wow.
But they wrote this together and were apparently not thrilled with the way this turned out at all. Let's see here. They were so unhappy with the way this turned out that they published their script as a book because they wanted it out there to show this is what we wrote. Compare for yourselves, folks. This is not what.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, the published script differs from the final film in several ways. They were also unhappy with the casting. Although, what they wanted for the casting, if it was meant to be a two-part TV thing, good luck in 1973 getting. They wanted John Voight for the part of Victor Frankenstein. Wow. And they were hoping John Borman would direct this. Well, that wasn't going to happen. Like I said, if this was a Mal always meant to be a TV movie. Maybe they were thinking it was going to be a theatrical film at some point because Borman wasn't going to direct this, and Voight never would have gone anywhere near this. Not in 73. Now, probably. Maybe, yeah. Certainly
but they
not
ended
Borman,
up,
though. That would be a huge step down.
Instead, they ended up with the great Leonard Whiting.
Romeo himself.
I actually, for all the faults we can dump on this, and we will over the next whatever.
It's not the actor's fault?
No, it's not.
It rarely is.
One thing I find very interesting are the changes they made from the source material, which, granted, I have not read their undamaged
I have a
screenplay.
Couple of things. Basically, they had a very Bride of Frankenstein style opening that would have featured Mary Shelley spinning the tail.
I did know that.
And it would have, the idea was for the people playing the main characters in this movie to be
them. They were going to have Nicola Paget, who plays Elizabeth. She was going to be Mary Shelley.
Leonard Whiting was
Shelley.
David McCallum was Byron, and James Mason would have been this character who is a new addition to the Frankenstein story, but is actually a real person that Mary Shelley knew, who actually wrote his own horror stories.
Yeah, Polidori, who wrote The Vampire, which is one of the earliest vampire tales in English literature.
It's that vampire spelling with the Y, so I always like to say the vampire.
The vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were going to do that, which is very cool. That's a clever concept. Yeah. Very similar to Bride of Frankenstein, like you say. Very metatextual. But they didn't include that.
Also, apparently there was some kind of epilogue, which we won't get to till. But we'll talk about in part 2. They had a more expanded ending that I'm gonna.
This is our first.
Go ahead and guess based on
two-parter.
Yeah, and unfortunately not our last two-parter because here's the interesting thing about the next few weeks on this show. We're doing this
miniseries.
But we're doing this, and then immediately we're following this up with what aired. They aired almost at the same time, Dan Curtis's Frankenstein, and they were sort of the warring TV movie Frankensteins. So we're going to do the 2 parts of this, and then after we do that, we're doing the 2 parts of Dan Curtis's Frankenstein, which will be a lot of Frankenstein, but will be interesting to compare them because from what I gather, this is the more respected of the 2.
And on the last episode of this run, not this run, but of these back-to-backs.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, 3 episodes from now, ladies and gentlemen of listeners, John and I will also end with a multiverse comparison in which we decide who would win in a fight. This creature versus Dan Curtis's creature.
I mean, Dan Curtis's creature, I believe it's Bo Svensson, so...
Bo Svensson. He's a big dude.
That's what I mean. So I'm going to go Bo Svensson. Sorry, Michael Saracen.
I will say that, but Michael Saracen's creature in this is very durable.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, that helps that he's on. I feel the most bad for Saracen in this. Like, he is trying, man, but boy.
It is interesting to take. It's interesting to take
the dialogue,
yeah.
And Saracen's a great actor. If you haven't seen They Shoot Horses, Don't They? Run out and see that.
God,
it's a great,
so good.
Great movie. He's great in it, just across the board. An amazing film. But holy shit. I mean, look, good luck to anyone having to play this, because I do think I agree with you. There are some interesting deviations from the source material and some changes that I think are interesting on paper and probably were good in that script, but in execution don't work.
Nope.
Because also, I should say, this is the most boring 82 minutes I've watched in quite a while.
It's they knew that they had room to breathe. They knew they were going to be doing a 3-hour a TV miniseries.
Yeah.
So they're like, let's take all the time in the world, man.
I can only imagine being because the year on this once again is 1973. And if I had been watching this, I'm not sure I would have tuned in for part 2.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever,
I agree.
I don't really
as far
care
as
where this is going.
Chills and thrills and scares and this,
I have a feeling I'm going to dig the Dan Curtis one more because it's probably worse but sillier.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
I have a feeling it'll be the exact same. This one is self-serious, but it doesn't have the chops to back it up. Mm-mm. The director really lets us down. Could have been doing. I mean, again, it's well written, but it is very stagey.
I didn't look at this.
Do it,
Jack Smite.
Jack Smite, which I think is the British version of Smithy, Alan Smithy. Jack Smite doesn't actually exist.
So this guy is a veteran TV director.
This does feel like TV.
Number of episodes of The Twilight Zone and The Defenders, Alfred Hitchcock Hour, Dr. Kildare. Directed. Oh shit! Though wait a minute. Is this right? Is this what I'm thinking it is?
What?
Oh, he directed just one of my favorite movies ever, which is Paul Newman as Harper.
Oh, Harper, yeah, that's a good one.
I love that's one of my all-time favorite Private Eye movies. I love Harper.
But you know what I'll say about all of his theatrical work, and I have seen several of these, like The Illustrated Man, No Way to Treat a Lady. I've seen Secret War of Harry Frigg.
Yeah.
But the thing is that with these Midway. That was a big one. My dad freaking made us watch Midway. But this is what I'll say is that even his theatrical stuff looks like TV.
I mean, Harper feels very procedural and is sold by its performances, as most noir is, whatever.
I think all of his good stuff is really, it comes down to who he had in it.
Yeah, I mean, if you have Paul Newman, good luck making something terrible, let's be honest.
Right.
Not that he wasn't in some garbage. I've seen when time ran out.
When you have Rod Steiger in No Way to Treat a Lady, he's going to eat whatever screen is in front of him. So, but the thing is that I think this is a very, I am sorry to crap on his career, but he's a very mundane director, and that happened to be solid enough.
But this
and I'm
is
sure
the man who brought
enough.
Us multiple episodes of McCloud and Banachek.
Chief McCloud. But I'll say that for
and he made the TV movie version of Double Indemnity.
I know, the TV movie version. That's just
don't you haven't you always wanted to see Richard Crenna in the lead of Double Indemnity?
No, it's weird. It's weird that you would bring that up because my answer is immediately no.
I love Richard Crenna, but maybe not for that.
Got no problem with Richard Crenna, but he's no Fred McMurray.
No. Odd fit for that part too, actually.
Well, not at the time. Fred MacMurray he got his start being that.
No. Crenna.
Oh, you're talking about Crenna.
Crenna's
Yeah,
an odd
yeah.
fit for the part. McMurray,
He is an odd fit.
awesome in Double
Yeah,
Indemnity.
absolutely awesome. I love the fact that he did start as this somewhat gray area character
The
actor.
Apartment, man.
Oh, The Apartment.
He's a scumbag in that movie.
He's the biggest. I mean, Don Draper looks like a saint next to that dude.
That guy sucks.
That guy sucks.
I'm still mad about his behavior in The Apartment. Damn it!
I still make my spaghetti.
Like that, you son of a bitch.
I still make my spaghetti with tennis rackets.
Just because Jack Lemmon's so charming, man.
He is so charming, and young Shirley MacLaine so fragile, and you just want. She's the original Manic Pixie Dream Girl. I'll tell you that much right now.
100%. She's even got the pixie haircut in that movie.
Notice how we have not begun talking about Frankenstein: The True Story.
Well, because number one, it's going to be about 25 minutes, maybe at the most.
I know. This is what I was going to say, though, is that
some people walk around and talk about stuff.
For the very sluggish runtime of this, one thing that had me laughing right off the bat is within 5 minutes we have a major character death.
Yeah.
Which is one of the most lamely put on film drownings I've ever seen. And it happens within a minute and a half.
To really sell it, we have Victor Frankenstein go, "My God, he's drowning."
He's like, "He's drowning! He's drowning!" You're like, "Geez, really?" From literally 10 feet offshore on a lake?
Because
why did he stand up in a boat going, "Come on, Victor, come out here," and then jumps off the boat to then drown? What the fuck?
Maybe it was a suicide. I don't know, man.
We all float down here, Victor.
Yeah. No, Georgie, no. Yeah.
Jesus.
Because
basically the first 5 minutes is Victor Frankenstein, who is a young hottie.
He is a smoke show, man.
I mean, Leonard Whiting that was his deal. He played Romeo. Exactly. He was a lovely young actor.
I looked him up. Beyond this and Romeo, though, not
so much.
Ton of stuff.
Here's my favorite little bit of trivia about Leonard Whiting. Is in the 70s, maybe early 70s, so around this time maybe, or after this, he ended up doing vocals for an album by the Alan Parsons Project, which was dedicated to the works of Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh,
it was a concept album.
I've heard this. My father is a devotee of the Alan Parsons Project.
Yeah. So you've heard Leonard Whiting sing, because Alan Parsons Project always had rotating singers.
Nevermore.
That's his song. Nevermore, nevermore.
Yeah.
That's
wow.
Our boy,
I did not know that was Leonard Whiting.
Yeah.
Oh man, because I definitely, like I said,
it's the cheesiest album in all history.
Very much grew up with my father's music in and around, and he was an Alan Parsons Project super.
I love it too, but I love it in the way that you love cheesy bad movies. Is that the tunes are catchy and they're goofy as fuck. So God bless them.
It was Alan Parsons Project and Jethro Tull were my dad's.
Except for Jethro Tull is actually art. That's all I'm gonna. I love.
I don't dislike Tull, but it was just like my dad grew up in an era when it was like Led Zeppelin.
He loved him some prog rock. God bless him.
Yeah, Zeppelin. No, Three Dog Night. Forever. That's the other big one. It was Tull, Alan Parsons Project, and Three Dog Night.
I respect Three Dog Night, but it's one of those bands where every single one of their big hits is just a song that they co-opted. Like they wrote none of their own stuff. Right. It was like, hey, more talented people like Harry Nilsson, have you written anything lately? Great. Can we use that? Mm-hmm. Hey, Randy Newman, can we use that Mama Told Me Not to Come song? Yeah. Great. Hey, the musical Hair, can we use a couple of your songs? Great.
It's always the disappointment, though, telling my father about, like, music I love from that era and going, like, yeah, did you ever see Pink Floyd? Oh, no, man, I didn't care for that.
How could he like Alan Parsons Project and Tull, but not Pink Floyd?
I know. So
it seems like these are all in the same bag.
Because I was like, Zeppelin? Nah. Man, it's all just like, they were okay. So it's always like he sort of eschewed the major defining, bands in favor of I mean, still some good ones like Tull is, probably deserves more credit than they get even. But then you also had like Three Dog Night and stuff like that. Well,
it's okay. I'm allowing your dad to be idiosyncratic. And his an iconoclast. He's his own guy.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's That's very clear. We can talk someday about his opinions on certain movies that are totally insane. But I don't. I'll have to ask him if he watched this back in the day, Frankenstein: The True Story.
73, man. I would have been myself. I would have been 4 when this came out, so it's possible I saw it. But I don't remember this at all. I remember its existence mainly because of me reading Famous Monsters and stuff and seeing the pictures of the creature.
Same here. I mainly just know it as on the list of Frankenstein movies. And I've never seen it. I do love After His Brother Drowns, which is basically the beginning is, oh, Elizabeth and I are so in love. What's this? My brother is drowning. How instantly
and then
after
cut to a funeral.
Cut to the funeral, and then instantly he's like, if only there was some way to conquer death, to turn life from death. I'm like, whoa, he's getting there real fast. Slow down,
that's what I find
movie.
so funny is that the rocket pace of this first few bits, and I'm like, okay, all right. And his again, one of the changes is this is sort of an adoptive father figure who actually is Elizabeth's father,
right?
But I think that Victor and his brother were just staying with them, so it's not his biological father.
Right.
But anyway, he says, hey, man, are you going to go work for the hospital? And he's like, yeah, maybe. There's still some things I want to explore. I
do love this moment here, too, when she's saying, like, life from death. Well, that's the kind of talk that Satan uses to tempt people.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, well, if Satan can bring my brother back, then I would gladly partner with him.
Yeah. Ooh. Your delivery has all the proper, sort of ominous tone to it that this movie eschews entirely.
Oh yeah.
Because he goes, our boy Leonard Whiting, Romeo goes, well, if Satan could do that, then I'd gladly partner with him.
Yeah, it is. I know. I wanted
to put some drama in it.
Well, I put some horror in it. I tried it. This movie,
you did.
Boy, this thing is so stuffy. It really does not want to be a horror property.
Part 1 has 2 scares in it, and they're very weak. Mm-hmm. One is a grasping hand, and one, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to spoil it, is a butterfly. All right, so
that butterfly we'll talk about. That's what I'm talking about. This is why I am looking more forward to the Dan Curtis one, because I feel like it is going to be more like, yes, life from death. And
it might have some lightning in it.
Yeah. Oh, dear God.
Instead of a very 1970s solar power message.
So anyway, he is very quick to be taken off now to London town. But he's like, he still loves Elizabeth. He's just abandoning her.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right, more changes. In the book, Elizabeth is his cousin, full-on first cousin, and no one batted an eye. Of course they're going to hook up. Here, it's more acceptable. It's like, oh, she's like a family friend, and I love her. All right, so there's that. Here's another big change. We're in England, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Our characters are Frankenstein and Clerval and all these, and Polidori. And ladies and gentlemen, we're in England.
I will say this, though. I'm actually more okay with that because they've always just been British in everything we watch. So why not just make them British? Like, no one's ever been trying to make them German or Austrian, really.
Yeah, well, I mean, all the place names would still...
They are, but
in
I'm saying
all those movies
none of the movies have ever played them that way, though.
You're right.
So there's a part of me that just is fine with this being like, you know what? It's just goddamn England because everybody's British anyway, so...
Okay.
That's just my take.
Whatever.
Honestly.
You win. Yeah. You always do.
It's still incongruous. You're right. Now we come to my favorite character in this movie, which is this random guy riding in the coach with him.
Oh, yeah.
This guy who's just very like, because he's just like, oh, I do say so. You seem awfully depressed. And then
he goes, oh, it's not my business. And he goes, well, you're fucking right. I'm beyond depressed. My brother just died. How about that?
And I do love, we basically get like a cutaway and a transition of he clearly has told him the whole story of like, well, my brother drowned and now I'm trying to conquer death. And, and this guy. And then they pull over the side of the road because there's been an accident and a man has broken his arm. And this guy is
it's virtually torn off.
Yes, it's destroyed because it got caught in the mill. Isn't that the thing?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And this guy is just like, excuse me, I have places to be. I can't be chaperoning around an invalid.
The guy who just like a second ago was being very solicitous of someone else's private pain, like, are you okay? And now he's like going, I don't have time to have some bleeding dude with his arm hanging from a vein getting in my coach. I got places to be.
Exactly.
Whatever.
But then I like that Victor's just like, well, I was going to the hospital anyway, jackass. Like, so
yeah.
you'll be fine. So they get to the hospital, and this is where we meet. Ooh, now I'm excited because David McCallum's in this movie. And I love me some David McCallum.
David McCallum came here to act.
Yes,
He's
did.
Doing a really good job. He's doing a great job.
So bummed that he dies so early in this thing because I mean, he's great. He's one of the better actors. I mean, they're all good actors, but particularly up against Whiting, who is a little out of his depth here.
Yeah. But it actually kind of fits because in this movie, another big change, which I wasn't really pleased with,
no, me neither,
is that Frankenstein takes the subordinate, I'm a student and learning this stuff, and Henry Clerval, who's the character we're meeting, played by David McCallum, is actually really the mad scientist who has the big breakthrough.
It actually made me wish David McCallum was playing Victor Frankenstein, though.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's you've got this like kid going, wow, you have some crazy ideas. I also want to conquer death. But all the really meaty stuff that you expect
also,
Dr. Frankenstein
it's another thing, like,
to have.
What are the odds? This guy wants to conquer death, and he just happens to run into a guy who's already doing that?
Yes. That is amazing odds. But it's jarring to anyone familiar with the story because Clerval in the books is the tag-along best friend who acts as the conscience of Victor Frankenstein.
It almost feels like we should follow Clerval to this hospital where he meets Dr. Frankenstein.
Yes.
In fact, keep these same actors, switch their parts, and do the same thing, basically.
I am game.
Because, well, the other thing, too, is, like, I understand they want sort of like a hunky Dr. Frankenstein. David McCallum, man. That's Elia Kiriakin.
Yeah, still hunky in the 70s here, even though they have dressed him down and he's stumbling around because in addition to being kind of a free thinker, he's also an epileptic drunk.
Yeah.
He's an epileptic drunk surgeon. So again, they gave him an actual character to play. So I'm sure he was like, I don't give a shit if this movie flops. I got something to do.
Yeah, and it is like McCallum's like, I'm here for the certain amount of time in the script, and I am sinking my teeth in, man.
He does.
And it is like, oh, this is what happens when you get a very talented actor to be in something like this.
Yep.
He's really doing this. But right off the bat, you know there's something weird about this guy, because when they bring in this guy, he's like, what a beautiful arm.
Yeah.
And you're like,
yeah, he is a surgeon. They have gone to the hospital where Victor was going to do some more studying, and they are intending to help the dude who had the accident with the thresher or whatever the fuck. But yes, you have Clerval who's like, yeah, I'll see what I can do to help him. But he's like going, now that is a beautiful arm.
And then it's Frankenstein who goes, well, we're obviously going to have to take it off. And Clerval just goes, remember, that was you who suggested it, not me.
I did kind of like that. He's like going, just for the record, he said it, okay? Yeah. That was totally Frankenstein that says, we're going to have to take that arm off.
Because this guy has maybe too many times in the past suggested taking things off of people and been like, I don't know if we need to really do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
People in the hospital are going, no. And for the last time, stop with the whole, hey, we could take that off or that off.
This man has the flu. Why do we need to take his leg off? I don't understand.
That's a beautiful lung. Yeah. How can you even see it? It's a beautiful lung.
I said it's a beautiful lung. Anyway, another way to play this guy is a better script or version they shot of the script would have had his desire to create human perfection come out of his own illness and like feeble.
Sure.
That could have been something. There could have been something there, but this movie chooses not to do anything with that.
Maybe he knew he was terminal or something, and so there's a very, very personal reason he wants to conquer death because his time is running out.
Well, that would have. I feel like that would have been the Hammer thing, where he would have asked Frankenstein to put his brain in this body or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that would have been the Hammer. It does make me long for the days of Hammer Frankenstein movies. This thing though,
if nothing else, those had cheesy verve to them.
Yeah, there was a theatricality there. There was a larger than life quality that I do get it. I understand these are classic works of literature, but like even their books are very broad, like.
Yeah.
So when you really try to play them as masterpiece theater, I tend to be like, just can't.
And
These
that is
should be fun.
definitely
Man.
what they wanted to do here.
Yeah,
They
that's
definitely
the
wanted
thing.
to do masterpiece
And I want
theater.
a little bit of fun in my monster movie. You can be serious and dark, but like, acknowledge this about a monster dude. Like, come on.
All you want to do is have some fun before the lights go out on Santa Monica Boulevard. Yeah, that was a strained and long way to go to work in a Sheryl Crow reference.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm so tired from attempting that. I'm gonna take a nap now.
We're gonna pause the show for a little bit here. Brendan's gonna rest up after that Sheryl Crow reference. To be fair, whether you make a reference or not, that's me sleeping anyway. Sheryl Crow. Sheryl Crow.
That's just your natural.
Yeah.
Honey, wake up. You're talking about Sheryl Crow in your sleep again.
I know. I wanted you to hear that. You're not enough like Sheryl Crow, damn it.
Let's see. What's the most subtle way I can bring it up? Oh, I know. As I sleep, okay.
And I just what did I get you for Christmas? This guitar. Yeah, you should learn how to use it. And write songs about the beach. There
you go.
Anyway, Sheryl Crow would like this movie because it's all about soaking up the sun too. So
it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
By the way, give yourself a pat on the back.
you.
That was
Thank
the
you.
winner for today.
That was yeah. I felt good about that. Sometimes I don't feel good about the references.
No, that's the one that gets you the award.
Thank you. Yeah.
Award
What's
season.
this? They're bringing it in right now. No, a large check.
They are fast.
Yeah. I don't even know what committee this is.
I don't know what bank to take this to.
Yeah. Where do you take a novelty check? To a really big bank. Obviously. So they cut the dude's arm off. And then immediately McCallum's on him like, what are you doing here? You could be anywhere, and you're choosing to be in this rundown piece of shit hospital, basically, is what his point is. And
no, he uses those exact words.
Yeah,
don't dilly or dally.
Pretty shocking language.
Why are you in this piece of shit hospital? It's literally made of human fecal matter.
Because he's like, well, I'm just here to learn. And McCallum's like, what are you going to learn? All the professors here are jackasses, and you're not going to learn anything from them. We do establish this. He's really got a chip on his shoulder about the professors in town. We get that a few times in this thing.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, because they just don't get it, man.
Very much a film of the 70s. This is
all
all about the establishment.
It is. It really is about these guys are the young punks coming in with crazy ideas that the old guard, they just don't get, man.
They don't get, man. We want to raise the dead, god damn it.
And then this is where he collapses going up the stairs. He's like, that's right. I'm not supposed to have any exertion. No exertion in my life.
I'm very weak.
Yes. Because he's like, quickly, get me that medicine from my pocket.
Take it from my right breast pocket.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then, of course, this is where they see that his bag is opened up, and you better believe that dude's arm is just jammed in there.
I do kind of like it because it's like, oopsie. He drops his bag, and a human arm rolls out, and he goes, well, jig's up.
I also like imagining after that, after they took the arm off, he was just like looking around and quietly sliding it into his bag, like, just get that arm in there while no one's looking.
He's doing like some very lame shoplifting thing of like, what was that sound over there?
Yeah.
5-finger discount. Literally, 5-finger discount.
Oh, I could have sworn I thought I paid for that arm.
I don't know what set off the alarms when I walked out the door.
And he's just like, what are you doing with this arm? And McCallum's just like, I need it.
And it's so beautiful.
Yeah, I need it.
I don't know if you really looked at it. I mean, look at it.
So then he finds him later in church, and he's just like, look, man, whatever you're up to, I want in. I want to know about it, all right? And he's like, I don't think you're ready for this, kid.
You don't want none of this shit, man.
It's basically that Walk Hard scene. You don't want none of this bringing bodies back from the dead shit, Victor.
You saying we're gonna beat death back in its own game and raise the dead, and there won't be any consequences?
Yeah,
you don't want none of this shit, man. I think I do want some of that shit.
Kind of sounds like I do want some of it. Yeah. This movie needed some Tim Meadows energy, no question about it.
Tim Meadows would have helped immeasurably.
I mean, to be fair, there's nothing that couldn't use a little Tim Meadows in it.
Agreed.
That guy makes everything better.
Every one of his guest appearances in a show, you're like, thank you for doing that episode of The Office. You're great.
Oh, he's so good in that. He has a recurring role on the sitcom The Goldbergs, and whenever he's there as the depressed guidance counselor, he is just hilarious.
Then I have a reason to watch it besides Jeff Garlin.
It's a really funny show. I really enjoy The Goldbergs.
Okay.
But it's just rife with pop culture references too, which is
that's also good.
So he's like, and this is where he's talking about, oh, those stupid professors. They don't look into any of this. They don't. Was it they're afraid of electricity? Isn't that his big thing too? They're afraid of the power it could bring. And we'll later get that when we have the legendary James Mason in here when he's like, oh, electricity.
Oh, you're still playing around with electricity.
James Mason.
Stupid boys.
James Mason just stumbling into this movie is one of my favorite parts. It's just like, yes. Yeah. Yes, it's me.
Did someone call for James Mason? Because here I am.
Well, I was told there'd be a tray of drinks ready, but I suppose I'll be in this Frankenstein movie while I wait.
It's happy hour somewhere.
This is definitely older James Mason. He's packed on some weight. You know, he looks a bit very disheveled in this thing. It's not.
He actually looks better when we get to Salem's Lot. Yes, so let's just assume we're hitting a.
Maybe somebody sobered him up a little bit for that. Yes. Oh yeah.
You're saying I need to lose some weight. Well, I guess I can cut out the solids.
Yeah. Yeah. How did I do it? I'm on a liquid diet. Yes.
A liquid diet.
Yes. James Mason comes in. He's not here yet though, but they're already talking about him. And so he goes. He's like, all right, well, come to my lab. And he shows him. He's got the arm just floating in this weird like tank of viscous liquid. And I just love McCallum going like, recognize that arm. But it's almost like, of course he does. He saw you with the severed arm.
Yeah, and then he goes, touch it.
Yeah,
touch it. And he does.
This is the stupidest part of this movie.
Is it?
Because again, we haven't gotten to the stupid.
We haven't gotten to the butterfly yet, man. And that for me was like, Jesus God.
This is the only thing that approaches Hammer is this arm is just straight up alive.
Yeah. So he goes, touch it. He goes, well, okay. And he touches it, goes, wow, it's kind of weirdly soft. And then it grabs him. He's like, whoa!
And McCallum's just like, it remembers you.
It remembers you.
What?
And all of those nights.
I mean, let's talk about this. Couldn't he present this now as the most amazing thing? He has what seems to be a sentient body part. Like, that's a scientific breakthrough on its own.
We've had that same argument in many a Universal film and Hammer film. Like, this alone would have made you pretty goddamn famous.
Like, it still would be the medical breakthrough of a lifetime.
Yeah, he goes, how did it do that? It was dead. And he goes, yeah, but it's been alive in this tank for a month.
He's not just putting an electrical charge through it and it's moving its hands. No. It's actually, like, alive and thinking and trying to do something.
Yeah, we get some very...
Later when it's skittering across the floor is my favorite.
We get some very cheesy 1950s, the crawling hand kind of things where, again, it's like every now and then the makers of this TV movie are like, we have to put something horror movie in this. So let's have this arm, which never gets put on the creature. It's just its own thing. It's wandering around. It wanders around.
Very high-minded literary kind of thing loses a lot when this living arm is moving about.
Yeah, and knocks on doors. And then they open it and it crawls in.
I'm just happy that Thing from the Addams Family got more work. You know, that's really
I was worried. I'd heard a lot about its post-cancellation, how it got into some heavy stuff, and I'm glad that it found a new job.
John Astin was always trying to get him off the pills, and
And he would go out. I
They
mean,
stayed
give
good
it the
friends
thing.
after the show, which was nice.
They did, but he tried out for roles on Columbo, and he didn't get them.
They
and
said he did great work, but we just need the rest of the body. That's
we need the rest of the body.
It's just not how we see this part.
I gotta say, I'm really happy that Hollywood is much more inclusive now.
Yes.
That you could actually have a full part.
Yeah.
For not even half a person.
It's
like
just the hand of
ninth
a guy.
of a person. Yeah.
A guy's hand.
Just a forearm and a hand.
I think he's very excited that Tim Burton's doing that Addams Family show for Netflix now because he's got more work.
Yep.
He's back.
Wow. Imagine that thing is actually still alive. Things like going, oh, thank God.
To be fair, I have no way to judge the lifespan of just a hand.
And, it could be Thing Jr.
Yeah. I'm picking up where my father left off.
This performance is dedicated to my father.
There's the special feature of Tim Burton talking about it.
Thing Senior.
Tim Burton going, it's so exciting. We were actually able to get the son of the original Thing in this movie.
Tim Burton, in that fictional universe we're talking about, Tim Burton would be fucking excited.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
He would be the thing that makes his career. It's like, I'm working with the son of the original Thing.
I'm very curious about that Netflix show, but it is one of those things where is it going to be another Dark Shadows where it's like, are you too perfect to fit for this material?
Could be. But at least we know it'll be quirky funny, whereas Dark Shadows, he's a perfect fit, but he turned something that was serious into something funny, which actually pissed off a lot of the fans, kind of myself included. This one, at least, if he goes quirky funny, that's exactly what it should be.
No, it is one of those things where it's just like, well, of course Tim Burton is going to make the Addams Family Netflix show.
Actually saw the stage musical sequel to the Addams Family that toured through here a few years ago.
I did too.
You saw that? Where it had Wednesday falling in love with a guy who's a normal guy and moving out of the house. And okay, great. We both saw that.
Yeah, it's good.
All right. It was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Yeah. So I'm curious about that. Anyway, I'll just talk about anything that's not this movie because after he shows him the arm, he goes, well, I'd like to do more, but unfortunately, and he takes him into this giant room. He goes, I built this big fucking machine, but it doesn't work. I just can't do it on my own. I need your help, Victor, to finish my giant life-giving machine that's powered by the sun.
Okay. All the sun stuff, whatever.
This pissed me off. The sun stuff, because I'm just like, well, the lightning is such iconic Frankenstein stuff, man.
Yeah.
We just did. And then, because also then when they do it, it's so boring when he's just moving mirrors around and this thing comes to life. It's one of the least exciting, like, make my creature live moments of any of these.
Exactly. But I will say the set looks good.
This set with some lightning going through it would look great.
Would have been great.
Yeah, because when they go into it, I thought, oh wow, they paid to build something.
Yeah, because they do a nice sort of crane shot to take the whole thing in, and you're like, wow, you guys spent all the money on this right here.
The most exciting moment of the bringing the creature to life is when he's cranking that thing, and I'm like, we needed more stuff like that. Because that's doing something. Machines are turning. He's acting. You know
what we did get, John? We got some sort of chroma keyed on glow effects, and then Michael Sarrazin just sitting up and going, hi, everybody.
Oh, my God. I will say, though, I do enjoy a chroma keyed on glow effect because it just screams this era. You know what I mean? Boom, that's a 70s TV thing. Absolutely. Yep. I did it. There was a part of me that just enjoyed that in isolation.
Yeah, me sitting there going, wait, is this an episode of The Phoenix starring Judson Scott? It wasn't.
That might win for most obscure reference of the show this week.
Well, I'm the only person who watched that program for its entire 12-episode run or whatever back in 1980.
I will say we're a ways out from getting there, but while it's a flawed movie in a lot of ways, I do really like the bringing the monster to life sequence from the Kenneth Branagh version when he's like shirtless and hanging from chains and screaming.
It's a bit much because it is it goes the opposite direction. It really turns it into this action sequence with him all shirtless and looking like, and he looks great because he put in some work.
That was prime Branagh.
That was prime Branagh, and he wanted to show that shit.
Yeah.
But the whole thing with electric eels, I was just like, oh God.
Once again, though, I do sort of lean towards the over the top with some of this stuff. So
sure.
I mean,
yes, but him swinging from chains and tons of gallons of water splashing everywhere. Yeah. Okay, whatever.
I remember really enjoying that, especially as a kid, because it was just like, wow, this is more exciting than any Frankenstein movie I've ever seen before. And it was just him going like, I'm going to be fucking Errol Flynn as Frankenstein, man.
Yes. And speaking of which, we at least had full-on Sheriff of Nottingham as a Frankenstein, and he did get to swing on a rope and kick the Frankenstein monster
and
into
was
a
that
pit.
not the best part of that movie? It totally
was.
was.
It was the best thing. It was like, oh, he's
more.
on a rope.
If you have Basil Rathbone, he must buckle some swashes.
And he did in the most unlikely of films. I was like, all right, man, bring it.
I was like, I needed more of that. I wanted that entrance, and then also he sword fights a couple random guys too. Like that would
maybe sword fights the creature. Maybe the brain they put in it was a great swordsman.
Yeah, I would love that. Oh man, turned into like a Captain Kronos kind of ending.
Or a Captain Crunch ending.
He had a sword too. I don't remember him using it a lot, but
sometimes he'd sword fight with Jean Lafoot, but we'll keep on going.
I don't remember Captain Crunch ever running anyone through on a box of cereal, but that would have been something.
It would have been something.
Captain Crunch just gutting a dude.
But the copy on the box is still, oops, too many berries.
Meanwhile, in very graphic detail, there's a sword running through a guy. So anyway.
By the way, # love Captain Crunch.
They're starting to get to work, but what's this? Elizabeth has come to town, and while Victor is very happy to see her, Dave McCallum is not having it, man.
Well, all right. I'm going to address a very small elephant that is in the room, and it's not even an elephant. It's an interesting subtext. Christopher Isherwood, here and there, is working in homoerotic themes, and there is an undercurrent with Clerval and Frankenstein to where Clerval is jealous of anyone that takes away Frankenstein's time from him, because that's his guy. And it happens with the creature too, which, spoiler alert, gets Clerval's brain. Right. So there is a sort of, even though the creature's childlike, it's another thing of like, no, we should always be together. Which, you could take that places. They don't really in this, of course.
I think that would be really interesting to just full-on lean into that.
Yep, but they didn't. Again, it's 1973 TV movie, and we get it.
Part of me wonders if maybe there was more of that stuff in the script. I would actually
probably.
I wish I had a copy of that script which they published.
I'm sure it's available.
I bet
out
I can
there
track
somewhere.
it down. I would be curious to read it because it was so different that they vehemently were like, we have to publish this to get it out there. That this is what we wrote, not that shit that was on TV. So yeah. And it can only be better if those guys.
It's just like Harlan Ellison publishing his script for City on the Edge of Forever.
Yeah.
Because he was so offended by the changes they made for that Star Trek episode.
But it was also
when you actually do read it, you're like, yeah, they made some changes. They didn't destroy your work, though. Also, I don't know why he felt the need to go, you must read my precious original.
I read the comic book that they did of it, which is really good. But it was also one of those things, too, where it's like, not only did they not trash it, it's also like, they were never going to be able to film a lot of this stuff. Of course not. Yeah. That's on you at a certain point, Ellison, because they actually did what I think a beautiful job of making the TV budget appropriate for what is a brilliant episode of the show.
Yeah,
but also
it's still
really
a great episode.
True to the core of the story he's trying to tell. Just, it would have cost $70 million back then to film what he was trying to do. Maybe don't write for TV.
He was
but
also
the guy was never not upset. It seemed like too.
No, that's exactly it. His whole life was about complaint.
God damn it, piece of shit, Star Trek. That's my Harlan Ellison impression.
It's actually really good.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
Gene motherfucking Roddenberry ruined my life.
About Roddenberry, you want to hear about Roddenberry? So we have this whole thing where it's like. I was going to show Elizabeth around the lab. McCallum's like, I bet you were. Kind of doing a Harlan Ellison, actually.
Oh, yeah. No, I know what that's coded.
Goes, look at all the work we're doing. And then, yes, the absolutely terrifying moment with a previously dead butterfly that now lives.
Okay. So, all right. She comes in, and she's like, why can't I see your work? And he's like, and later, but I think I have a way to tell you what we're working on. And she had been in the study and looked at butterflies that were pinned to a display, as you do.
Classic.
Dead butterflies pinned to a display. And she goes, "Oh, that's a lovely one. That's the blee blah blue blow blow, and it's my favorite." And he goes, "Oh, that's great." So he goes, "Listen, I'll tell you about what we're doing. Just give me a couple minutes and then go back in the study or whatever.
Yeah.
She goes back in the study, and the whole thing is she looks at the framed thing with the pinned butterfly, and the butterfly's missing.
Right.
Then she looks around, and it's sitting on an open book, and she touches it, and it starts to flap its wings. And okay, that should be a moment of, holy fuck, the dead butterfly is alive.
Yeah.
But the way they're asking her to play it, as if she has
felt
seen
so bad for this actress having
a winged
to
demon come out of the fireplace. She's like backing up from a butterfly, going ah.
And the fact that they put the camera on the butterfly coming at her.
Yeah, there's a butterfly POV, and it's flapping toward her. She's like, no, backing away from it, and then she picks up a Bible and smashes it.
Yeah.
A Bible, nonetheless. So
it was sitting on top of a Bible too.
Right.
And I do love McCallum coming in with his very sardonic, like, finally a good use for this Bible.
Yeah, that almost made it worth it.
Yeah.
But the thing is that
savage McCallum.
I get it as far as like, yeah, that would be an interesting way to show her what you've been working on. It's like we're bringing life back to the dead, but it was still a fucking butterfly, and her reaction is so. She's like, I felt evil in this place. There was a great evil. I'm like, you mean the butterfly that went flippity flappity flew?
There was nothing monstrous about this butterfly. There was nothing vicious or aggressive about it.
It's just that 5 minutes before it had been dead, and now
I love
it
when
was
it's the POV
around.
and her just being like, trying to wave it away. No, stay away, stay away. No.
Yeah, there is no way to survive that as an actor. There is no way to come back from that kind of a scene going, do you guys still take me seriously at all? I mean, at all? And everyone says, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry.
And then Cloyvel is just like, how dare you show her that? You have betrayed me, I say.
Yeah.
McCallum is trying to save this movie, man. He is doing his best.
He can't do it.
God
he can't
damn,
do it.
I do love him. Oh, he's so good.
Oh, no, he's absolutely the best thing.
To this day, man. You know? Still. Oh, David McCallum.
He'll be happy to know that you're still with him.
I mean,
I'm never giving up on you, McCallum.
Dude, the guy's been in 414 episodes of NCIS, you know?
Yeah, I know.
He's
and he has solved so many murders.
So many murders. And he's been the voice of Alfred in several DC animated movies. Come on. Is that our most oft-referenced? I think we do.
It may be.
We do a lot of come on.
Because we love Will Arnett.
We do love Will Arnett. And it's so useful.
It's so useful as an exclamation of
come on.
It's not enough to say, seriously. No, it's got to be an emphatic, come on.
Yeah. Oh, man. So anyway, where were we? Yeah, Scary Butterfly. So she's just like, this is evil. This is evil. My note.
Did you put that in your notes? Scary Butterfly?
Scary Butterfly. Yep,
yeah.
It's in there. By the way, I just started the third notebook that I've filled.
Wow.
That I'm into the third notebook for this show.
I did notice that you had a swanky Batman 1989
I do,
notebook.
And it came as a set. I have a corresponding Joker one too. So that'll be when I fill this one up. We'll go to the Joker one. Which
I guarantee it'll be for some terrible movies, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but she has a scary, and it's just where she says, "This is evil. What you're doing.
This is evil.
You have to choose. You can either do this work or be with me, but I won't be with you if you're gonna do evil shit like bring butterflies back from the dead." Once again, not a moment of being impressed at what he's done.
No,
like that, or amazed or astounded. Just instantly fearful, instantly horrified.
Yeah. You sound surprised.
I know. Yeah, it is.
If you saw a resurrected butterfly, I think you would also be a little thrown.
And so he must choose, and then I think this is actually my favorite moment of David McCallum is where we have not talked about Agnes Moorehead in this thing.
Well, she doesn't have much of a part, but it's still great that it's Agnes Moorehead.
Agnes Moorehead, my God. Slumming it, I would say, really, for her talents.
Yeah.
Really not a good enough use of her. It's, this is no Endora. Come on, man.
This is no Margot Lane.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
This is no Charles Foster Kane's mother.
Yeah. She's in both Citizen Kane and Magnificent Ambersons.
Yeah, she's Miss whatever. She's like the
Mrs.
housekeeper
Blair,
lady.
it says here on the thing. Anyway, she comes running up. She goes, "Oh, there's been a terrible accident down at the quarry." And this is my favorite McCallum moment of him trying to not be totally psyched about this.
Yeah, like, it's pretty great. He's like, "Oh, that sounds terrible. What exactly happened, and who got hurt?"
She's like, "Well, men were crushed." She's like, "Yes, well, with
how many men?
7 men. I see. I see. Are their bodies intact?"
Yeah, he is literally slobbering, and he's just, he's not doing a great. He's not being chill. He has no chill.
No. And this is another thing too, where is this some of the homosexual undercurrent, maybe of the like men's bodies?
Well, pretty much, from the very beginning with the like, that's a beautiful arm.
Yeah.
There's and when he creates the creature, he does say, "This is beautiful. Look at these limbs. This will be." I mean, we're not there yet, but everything is all about how this is the perfect sternum. This is the most gorgeous spleen I've ever seen. So there is a lot of sort of male body worship going on in this in a very subtle way.
Yeah, there is. It's once again, I have to imagine. I bet his script had more of it. That's a totally interesting way to go with this.
Yeah,
that this was never going to lean into, because as we point out, it's early 70s.
We had to wait for Rocky Horror Picture Show, or actually the Rocky Horror Show, to fully embrace the idea of a Frankenstein doctor creating his perfect man.
Just a transvestite from transsexual Transylvania.
Exactly. Why don't you come up to the lab and see what's on the slab?
So good, man.
I know.
Are we going to cover that? Does that count?
Oh my God, it might. And actually, I'd love if it did, just because, come on, we'd be able to watch Rocky Horror. But then again, what would we be able to say about it other than it's Rocky Horror? You've all seen it,
I feel
and
like
it's awesome.
It falls into the same category as us debating whether or not to talk about Young Frankenstein, right? Like,
oh, right. Yeah, a knowing parody. A knowing parody is...
And also just both of them, I don't think would actually be very interesting episodes of the show.
No, because we would just be reciting lines from it and laughing.
And it's just be like, isn't this good? It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Isn't that song great? And, man, and it's just like, we all know Tim Curry's amazing. Like,
That's a we love movies kind of episode.
Yeah, where it's just kind of like, I don't really think this show is built for that.
Nope.
Instead, it's better to find the gems where we're like, oh man, this
like
one
the
was
boy who cried werewolf.
Oh boy,
like where we didn't see that one coming, and now it's all we can talk about.
The more I do think about it, I think it really is the worst we've watched.
I know.
I really hate that movie so much.
Man, The Creature Walks Among Us and Lust for a Vampire
those are all bad. But honestly, I think I enjoyed Creature Walks Among Us more than Boy Who Cried Werewolf. At least you were watching it going like, boy, this is bad. Like this.
At least there were boobs in Lust for a Vampire.
But we talked about
sorry everybody,
even the
that was
boobs
not
in
enlightened.
It are no this is not discrimination against, but the way they're in there is such a not even a remotely erotic. It's just like, well, this is
because they
weird.
pulled back on erotic super text.
It's more just
and instead
awkward nudity. Yeah,
it's just like, oh, I happen to walk into while you're changing.
Yeah,
and then it just feels like the filmmaker said, yeah, we had to include this. Sorry, everybody.
It just felt like nobody's excited this is here.
Nope.
Yeah,
nobody's excited. It's just so, Thank you, except for that one viewer who hasn't been with us in a good long while.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for part 2 so I can get to some Jane Seymour.
Man. Oh,
Jane Seymour.
Yeah, she's gonna make part 2 fly by for me.
Yeah. Well, she makes everything better, right?
She does. She is Dr. Quinn, medicine woman.
I watched some Dr. Quinn as a kid. I always thought it was boring, though. I never chose to put on Dr. Quinn.
Not a good show.
So they show up
unless you were born a middle-aged woman, which I don't know if you were.
So they head over to where this accident is, and immediately Victor and Cloyvel are sizing up these bodies, going like, oh yes, well we could use this leg and this hand and perfect.
What's funny is to the public they're pretending they are doctors. To the public they're like, we'll see what we can do to help them. But once they get them inside the place, they're like going, that's a good leg, we could use that. Oh, this is a good torso.
Right.
Oh
right.
Yeah, that'll work. Oh, this head is good. Oh, nice face.
Yeah. And will you look at the dong on this guy? Am I right? Yeah.
Yeah. They actually bleeped that one, which I thought was interesting.
And then when to hear it unbleeped, and it was dong of all choices of word for Christopher Isherwood.
Isherwood used the word dong.
Look at the dong on this fellow.
That's true to the 18th century. That is the most commonly used word for the male genitalia, dong.
Check out the dong on him. No, I will say, here's my other thing with this too is it's an interesting idea, right? That they are, that he starts out beautiful and becomes monstrous. However,
right, this is one of the twists.
However,
I know where you're going with this.
Still a stitched together, but wouldn't there be some lingering effect of that?
This is another big problem I have with it. Just like you just said, it's a good idea. But the idea, if you had just put this thing together, because even in the original story, it's a little bit like that. Like, he starts off looking pretty good and gets worse as he goes.
Yeah.
But he's still, right after surgery, he just had his head opened up and a brain put in. He has various limbs of different people.
Yeah.
So no matter how beautiful he'd be, there would be stitch work that might heal over time.
Yeah.
But right here, when he walks up and it's just Michael Sarrazin, complete with the hair, the perfect hair, you're like, where's the scene?
And, I mean,
I know these guys.
Yeah.
You know, they're not Steve Martin in The Man with Two Brains. They don't know the screw top method. They just so.
Oh man.
There should be stitches. I love that movie too.
Oh, it's so funny. But
we should cover that.
We've done other brain transplant movies. Why not?
Dr. Huffer.
Oh my God. Boy,
Animal Mahay.
the collaboration of Steve Martin and
Carl Reiner.
Carl Reiner. My God, those movies. Because Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid is one of my favorites as well.
Underrated, that movie. God, so underrated.
I'm so glad Kino Lorber is doing a special edition remastered Blu-ray of Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid.
And this is the first I've heard of it, and I thank you for your service.
Yeah, I know. That's I saw that and I was like, well, yes, must have that. I wasn't even completely aware I'd been waiting for that, but there it is, and I'm thrilled it is because
they just got some more money.
Underrated
from
gem,
us.
that movie.
Yep.
So fucking funny. They're sizing this up, and this is where James Mason rolls into the picture. Hello, gentlemen, it's me.
Yeah. It's Dr. Polidori, and have you been doing more experiments with your electricity?
Yes. And Dave McCallum is instantly like, oh God, this guy.
This guy.
Yeah, right.
He literally does kind of go, oh, this guy.
And he goes, well, I would love to hear more about some of your experiments you're working on. Perhaps we could.
He's immediately suspicious of everything about everything that they're doing.
Some time, and then they walk away, and Victor's just like, "Who is that guy?" He's like, "Oh boy, let me tell you about this guy."
All right, this is one thing I love about it. This right when they're doing this is out in the public square kind of thing. He's like, "Who's that guy?" And this is where McCallum shit talks Polidori, and he calls him Pollywally or whatever. But the thing I love is he's literally
Pollywog, piece of shit.
He's literally 8 feet behind them, getting into his carriage, and I love the whole thing of like him just sort of in the background going, "What's that? I heard my name. Are you speaking of me? Hello?
Was there more to this conversation we were supposed to be having?"
It's like they're saying the quiet part loud, and he's literally 8 feet away.
James Mason was about to head to the bar, but then was like, "Hey, hold on, was there more with my character?"
No, he suddenly realized that, all right, they put a bar in this carriage for me. And very nice of the boys.
I feel like it's
thank you.
I feel like it's the one of my favorite parts of Goldfinger when they're like they give Bond the private plane to go home on, and we've stocked the bar for 4. And it's well, who else is joining me? No one. And I just love the CIA being like, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna let this guy drink himself to death on our dime." And it does seem like that. It's like, well, James.
Don't worry, we know all about you.
James Mason is coming to set. We've stocked the bar for 4. No one else is allowed to touch it. Thank you, good man. Yes.
Tell Stanley I'll return to the set as soon as Peter Sellers leaves. I don't want to cross paths with him.
No.
He's a terrible drunkard. Those two during Lolita must have been just a a free for all.
Yeah,
just empty bottles. Not
Kubrick
since the
like,
days of Lon Chaney.
Come on, guys.
Not since the days of Lon Chaney.
Broderick Crawford, man,
and Broderick Crawford.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm sure Kubrick was just
constantly.
That was just a constant headache of like, oh,
yeah,
for the love of God.
Just get him what he wants. Thank you.
Do I fuck the little girl now, Stanley?
Yeah, is this the scene where I touch her young bosom?
Is this it? Making a pervo movie. Yes. I mean, it's a great film, but yeah.
We will continue to, based on a great book as well.
Sure.
But we will continue to mock James Mason, but you must understand, listeners, we love James Mason.
Oh, yes. We can make fun of James Mason. You can't make fun of James. We kid because we love.
We kid because we love, and he knows that.
Yeah.
Somewhere, wherever he is, probably hell.
No,
he knows that we love him.
Oh, I've done a number of things to get me into the fiery inferno of hell.
Just glad they never checked the crawl space. Thank you. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. What did he just... Was he implying?
Good night. I said good day, sir.
I said good day.
So, anyway, McCallum's like, all right, well, tomorrow's the experiment. We make this body live tomorrow.
This perfect, beautiful
I love
body.
this scene of David McCallum practicing in a mirror his big reveal of what he's made.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the new Adam,
But also, we need this because we are seeing his naked ambition here. This is an important character scene, and probably one that he was sitting there going, "Oh, I'm gonna chew this up," and he does.
It's just we needed more David McCallum. He's
we
so
did.
Good in this. Oh man, I love the guy.
Maybe he'll come back and haunt us in the next episode.
I can only hope so.
In the next episode.
Yeah. Next time on Frankenstein. Well, we do have
true story.
This is the thing.
Story.
This is the thing that gets me about. It's a 2-part movie, right?
Yeah.
How does it have guest stars? I just love that about like TV where it's like guest starring. This is it. These are the regulars. These are the guest stars of the 2 parts of this movie.
I guess they're just saying these are not the big marquee names, so they are guest stars.
Yeah, which is interesting.
It's a dick move.
Because the guest stars of when they used to put guest stars in movies were the big marquee names doing cameos.
Oh yeah.
You had who is it who guest stars in The Alamo? I can't remember. Whoever plays Sam Houston just pops in for like a split second at the beginning.
And people go, woo!
And it was
because anytime Sam Houston shows up.
Well, I have to look it up, which is a stupid thing to look up, but it's going to drive me insane if I don't look it up about who plays. Oh God, he shows up right at the start.
It's not like Jason Robards. No, that would have been later.
No, it's guest starring as Sam Houston is, of course, it's not just right at the top of the IMDb. You bastards. Now it's taken too long, and listeners are getting upset as I talk about a
John,
movie
you know what I think is
I watched a lot as a kid, but other people don't remember as a classic.
One of the things that I think
it's Richard Boone. It's Have Gun Will Travel.
What I love is,
Paladin
and it's
himself.
really. What's really adorable is that you think we still have listeners. That's what I think is really, that's cute.
God, I do love Have Gun Will Travel.
That's what reads the card of a man.
Yeah.
A knight without armor in a savage land.
Savage land. Yeah, exactly.
Paladin. Yeah, no, Paladin is a great character.
Yeah, I have.
And I don't know why they don't reboot and give us a new Paladin.
I agree. Actually, I do have the complete box set of it on DVD. I have all the episodes.
A literate gun for hire in the Old West who lives in a San Francisco hotel. Come on.
I love that every episode starts with him like, well, let's see what's in the morning paper today. What's this? Man wrongfully accused of murder. Get my hat.
But he'd also wait for the telegrams because people would reach out to him. I need your help.
I would love is some sort of horrible problem. And he goes, send them my card. He would see the problem, send them his card, which also made it go like, so what, he shows up 3 months later?
Yeah, travel was not instantaneous in the Old West.
Luckily, I'm the only man with an automobile in the Old West.
Paladin, Paladin, where have you been? Paladin, Paladin, everybody's dead. He's like, my heart was in the right place. I was just several months too late.
And then also in the Alamo, who could forget Frankie Avalon as Smitty?
Yeah.
He didn't.
Well, it has Richard Widmark as Jim Bowie, right?
And I love Richard Widmark.
Come on,
in it. Yeah.
come on.
I mean, once again, it was famously a flop, but it's one.
Not in Texas.
Yeah,
in Texas, they showed that to us in class.
Oh, nice.
For Texas history.
It was one I watched a lot as a kid. We had the double cassette of it. Just to get back to my dad's childhood hero, John Wayne. That was his absolute all-time movie icon.
And a terrible casting idea. I mean, I'm sorry, I love John Wayne, but he is not.
Well, come on, I'm Davy Crockett.
He's not. He's just not.
I fought a bar when I was only 3.
Because he's a Western-y sounding guy. And the thing is, Crockett was a Tennessean. You don't sound like that.
That was another thing I loved as a kid, though, were on the Disney Channel reruns of those Davy Crockett movies.
I love those too.
Davy Crockett.
I love how they decided, you know what? We found the great guy to play David Crockett. Why don't we also have him play Daniel Boone?
Basically the
same guy.
Why
don't we just decide they're all the same guy?
Daniel Boone
like a century apart.
When he threw the axe and the tree would split in the opening title sequence.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, that's good stuff.
Well, he was a man.
Yes.
A real man.
Yep.
A big man.
Big man. Big man.
Okay.
Anyway, Jesus Christ. Dave McCallum dies almost immediately after this.
Yes, he does his right before, talking to himself in the mirror.
Right before he notices that the arm from earlier has crawled out of its tank and is deteriorating. He's like, oh no, the process inverts itself, or what is the word he uses?
Or reverses, or something.
Reverses, something like that. And he's just about to write this down in his journal. Process will, oh no!
But what's funny is it doesn't even matter anyway, because Frankenstein himself will, like within 10 minutes, come to the same conclusion and use the same verbiage.
Yes.
He'll just go, oh, the process is reversing.
And I but I love this scene where Victor comes in and finds him dead and he sees the notebook. It's like, process will, and then he's just like, be a success.
You sure?
And then, yes, he goes, oh, wait, perfect. This won't have our monster or our creature, our creation, won't have the brain of a peasant. And he starts sawing open David McCallum's head.
Yeah, he's like going, I'm sorry, Henry, that I wasn't able to save you, but you know what? You will live on in our creation, and our creation will have your beautiful brain.
Just done this. Like I said, this should have been part of it, man. I want to do a rewrite on this.
I think Mary Shelley did a rewrite on it, and it works a lot better.
It was pretty good. Yeah, I think hers.
There was no lightning in hers, and I know that upsets you.
It does. That's bullshit, man. Mary Shelley's not being true to the original Frankenstein story. No, because like anyone else, I was, of course, introduced to this story through the Karloff movie. I did eventually read the novel in high school, not as an assignment, by the way. That makes it sound like it did. Just on my own, because I was a nerd like that.
That's what I like.
I was not reading the material that was assigned and instead reading things like Frankenstein and Dracula. There was only... Look, here's the thing. I was a reader, and I'm a voracious reader. I just didn't want to read the shit they told me to read. I was reading plenty of books.
Yeah. Now, I like how defensive you're being as if your 6th grade English teacher is listening to this and going, I knew it.
Well,
you don't have to be defensive.
I will
Just
say
own it.
I am only defensive because my mother, an English teacher, was quite disappointed by my performance in English classes.
I did very well in my English classes with my English teacher mother being proud of that, but still being disappointed because I spent all my other time reading funny books.
Yep. Yeah.
Which she referred to as funny books will always be funny books to
I
her.
have won that war with my mom and convinced her that comic books are a valid form of
Well,
literature.
you've also made something of a life out of it. So that
the fact that I'm literally paid to talk about them now is really
that'll shut him up.
I really also do want to go to my freshman English teacher who told me to, during free reading time, bring some real books, not these Fantastic Four comics I was bringing every day. Yeah, John, I'd like to see you read a real book, and I was at that point obsessively reading through the Fantastic Four, the whole history of it and stuff like that.
Yep.
At that time, that was most of my freshman year was devoted to reading Fantastic Four from issue 1. So,
I support this. I don't even know where to go with this, other than to say good on you.
No regrets, man, because she doesn't know how good Fantastic Four is.
Jesus Christ, one of the best runs, creator to creator you'll ever see.
Absolutely, man. So anyway, he starts the experiment. He's moving the solar panels around.
Yeah, solar panels, ladies and gentlemen.
You've got to love that when a cloud cover comes in, the experiment almost doesn't happen.
Yeah, it sort of kind of shuts down, and he's like, "Oh God, go to the manual."
And this
controls.
is when he's pumping this thing.
Working
this is the most exciting part of it because it's the only like beat of action or excitement in this experiment sequence.
He's like,
it's
"Oh shit!"
Pretty boring.
Yeah.
This might be in the running for the most boring creature coming to life moment I've seen in a Frankenstein movie.
Yeah.
There's just nothing about it. We don't get a lot of the electricity kind of stuff and the classic machinery we get from the Universal movies and stuff like that. It's a bummer.
You'll be okay.
Anyway, the creature just kind of sits up and is like, hello.
I thought it was interesting. Like, I mean, Michael Saracen, as you said, he's a fine actor.
Very handsome man.
Yeah, especially in that time. Reincarnation of Peter Proud. Watch that. But him, like his physical choice here, there's a little bit of stumbling, but he's a remarkably, like, he gets up as if like, oh.
Yeah.
Like no big deal.
Woke up from a nap. Hello.
Yeah. Now his brain does seem to be very childlike, but it's not like he's stumbling around. He's just sort of like, oh, stairs. This is tricky. Hold on.
Yeah. No, because immediately he's like, hello. He is talking. Like, I thought, and I was like, I think my is like, creature comes to life. He's hunky and kind of smart.
Yeah.
This experiment has appeared to work perfectly.
Because the hair is perfect. Again, as we said, no visible stitches. It's just he's a super fine guy in a diaper.
Yeah. And instead, he's just like, okay, creature, you stay here. We're going to go have a funeral for David McCallum.
Yeah.
Just so James Mason can show up again and say hello. And this is where he implies that he knows what's up because he's like, what does he say? Something about like, been taking in a lot of sun recently?
Yeah.
Enjoying these sunny days? Am I laying it on a bit thick?
I noticed your tan. Mm-hmm. It's quite lovely. You smell like cocoa butter. Have you been out in the sun? Where am I? Mommy?
Yeah.
What's for lunchies? Hello?
What film is this again? Hello?
We have turned him into the world's most drunken man, and I'm okay with it.
This is the Frankenstein picture, yes? Oh, boy.
Is Boris here? He's a wonderful old friend of mine. I'd like to say hello to him.
What is this, his 40th one of these? Hello?
Such a good actor, but best when he's covered in latex. Where is that old man?
Oh, hello? Boris, come here.
Mr. Mason, he's not involved with this film. Oh. Then why am I?
Bold choice.
Hello.
And by the way, can we get someone from costumes over here? I seem to have pissed through these pants.
I seem to have wet myself. Like I haven't done since I met the Queen. I told Liz, I was like, Liz, so sorry.
I like to imagine all of this with the cameras still running. Yeah.
They're like going, this is going to make for a great rap reel. We're going to put this on the rap reel.
The blooper reel they show is just 30 minutes of James Mason rambling. What? I'll tell you. Yes. Stanley Kubrick, he gifted me these cufflinks, you see.
I told Frank Sinatra in 1952, I said, old man, listen, keep your mobsters out of my business. And that's when they killed my child. Well, hello? Hello?
I like that he always goes back to, yes, is anyone there? Am I alone?
I like the idea that he's telling a story to a fixed point that may or may not include a person.
Yeah.
And then he becomes aware that there's no one around.
Yeah, it's that they've shut down for the night and he's still there talking. He's in his costume from this.
Do I have to take my makeup off by myself again? Fine.
Can I just wear it? We'll just have it all ready to go tomorrow then?
I think I'll just sleep here in the carriage. Don't worry about taking me back to the Holiday Inn. They put everybody up in a Holiday Inn.
Guests of Frankenstein's A True Story stay at the lovely Holiday Inn Los Angeles.
True story. Okay.
All right.
You're way off. All right, so Michael
stars
and
make
walks.
a nothing movie into a long episode.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's how we do it.
So anyway, yeah, he knows. Mason seems to know what's up. Then Victor brings the creature to stay at the boarding house with Agnes Moorehead, who's like, "Now who's this then?" And he's like, "Oh, this is my
friend. He's a friend of mine from another country. He doesn't speak English.
So ask no further questions." All right.
And Agnes Moorehead says, "He's super fine.
Yeah.
I won't ask any questions."
Damn, that was a weird line from Agnes Moorehead.
Yeah, when she said, "Damn."
Damn.
She invented that.
Check out the dong on this guy. You can see it right through his pants, man. So then you gotta love the scene of Victor Frankenstein teaching the creature how to have dinner.
Yep.
My God, thrill as he shows this man how to toast a glass of wine
For 4.5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. It's
and
then he's just like, "Now you're getting it."
Knife, and the creature holds up a knife. He goes, "Fork," and the creature holds up the fork, and he just shows him how to cut his meal and then put it in his mouth. It all works.
Thrill. I was terrified.
Not since that butterfly came to life was I filled with terror.
Dear God, man. That monster's learning how to eat at civilized dinners. Imagine the horror. Jesus Christ, this movie.
Yep.
So he teaches him how to do that. We get, the creature being a bit of a scamp when he hides behind this thing and jumps out and grabs Victor. This is a little bit of some of the this is a little bit of grab ass in here. There's definitely something going on here.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, nothing. Instead, Victor's like, "Here you go. I've got you a tux and tails for the opera tonight."
Yeah, it's a pretty big jump from showing someone how to eat Salisbury steak to now we're going to the opera.
I do think it's interesting that he seems to not have focused immediately on the language skills.
No.
Because so they go to the opera. They're watching Figaro, which is, oh my God, it just gets funnier and funnier the more this creature says Figaro in this thing, which is, I know, not meant as a joke, but I laugh every time he's like,
he is
Figaro?
Taken with it. Figaro. He loves it very much and would love to go back every night, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets a big kick out of the opera. There is a painful scene.
Oh God.
With this rich countess woman who basically Victor knows and goes, "Oh, hi, Countess, whatever." And she's like, "Oh, hello, dear boy. Who's this with you?" And she keeps bringing up how much money she has now that her husband's dead. And Victor's like, "Yeah, whatever." And she just keeps eye-fucking the creature.
Oh, my God, yes.
And keeps mentioning how much money she has. And the creature... she's like, and Victor says, he doesn't speak English. And she goes, "Oh, but do you parlez-vous français?" And the creature just parrots back, like, "Parlez-vous français?" And she goes, "Ah, blah, blah, blah." And he goes, "Blah, blah, blah, blah." And then she goes, "Well, you speak French beautifully." And he's like,
and
"Yeah,
he doesn't understand
Victor
Frankenstein's like, "We have to get out of here now. Like, right now.
Yeah, we have to get out of here." And they leave. And she's like, "Did I mention I have 30 million pounds or whatever?" And it's just painful. It's supposed to be cute or funny, and it's neither.
Can I
And
tell you an
it
interesting
took 12
fact, though,
minutes.
about this Figaro scene?
Yeah.
Which connects back to another episode of our show. The shot of the audience applauding for Figaro
Yes.
is footage from the Claude Rains Phantom of the Opera.
Wow. Because that was very 40s, early.
1943.
What was the color process they used
Technicolor.
back then? I guess it was Technicolor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't notice. It didn't really jump out as like, wow, they used some old stock
until I
footage.
read that there. Yeah, but I guess maybe they
Interesting.
put it through a filter or did something that make it look a little
Sure.
bit not. It doesn't pop as much. I was
Yeah.
also watching a very shitty transfer of this. I mean, it was totally watchable, but
Yeah, you didn't get the James Mason intro, so I pity the fool.
Excuse me, hello. This is called Frankenstein.
Thought you'd like to see a fake tombstone they put up 15 minutes ago.
Look at this bullshit they're having me do. Whatever.
This is where she's buried, and to prove it, I've asked for a shovel. Stay with me. This will take a while.
Why, this is not the skeleton of Mary Shelley.
I'm 76 years old, and I'm very drunk, so this may take the entirety of part 1. Check back with me when we're done.
He's rolling up his sleeves.
He goes, here, take this, boy. I'm a
Here
girl.
we go.
Yes, whatever.
Don't
it's the
turn
70s.
that camera off. I want every minute of this, every second of this shown.
They said I couldn't do it. I'm gonna dig up a corpse.
Oh, I'll show them. So yeah.
Everyone has turned off this podcast. They were like, we did not expect 90 minutes of straight James Mason impressions.
Well, then they listened to the wrong show, man.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So then, God. Oh yeah, and then as they're leaving, and he's quickly escorting the creature out, we cut to James Mason being like, "Whoa, that's suspicious."
Yeah, he's like, who's this now?
This tall drink of water, but or something else. But then we get the scene that's just here as the last line. That's unfortunate because you know it's going to go wrong, which is him going, "My God," Victor Frankenstein, Tyler Creed going like, "My God, you are the monument to my brother's legacy. Everywhere you go, all you'll bring is happiness and a smile to people's face." I'm like, okay, we get it, script. This is about to go horribly and horrifyingly wrong.
Yep.
And this is the exact moment where it's about to happen. He'll bring happiness wherever he goes, and tomorrow I will debut you to the world.
Yeah, the monster is all right, and also, I mean, actually, in keeping sort of with the book-ish, but also keeping very much with the original film, is that this creature really is innocent and childlike. If Clerval's brain is in there, it has not really come to the fore. So at least in part 1, we are dealing with a man-child who is learning new things and is innocent. There's no evil in him to be seen. And yet, very quickly, because the process is reversing itself, just the look of him as it starts to degenerate is what causes the true horror and regret and, and where Victor Frankenstein decides he has to get rid of the creature. And you're like, that sucks, man. Just because this innocent creature is going to degrade and not be as pretty, this isn't because he killed anybody. It's just like, you're not as attractive as you were. I'm going to have to destroy you and start over.
Yeah, well, because the thing that indicates this is he sees the disgusting, degrading arm once again, and he's like, oh dear. And I just love him casually grabbing this beaker of acid and dumping it on this thing. Like,
this movie is
away you go.
This movie is crap, but I will say that whole thing with the dissolving of that hand, one shot of effects in this is a pretty great acid dissolving an arm.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's well done. You see muscle and tendon underneath it. You see the bones. You see the flesh bubble. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Okay.
It's one of the only bits of anything resembling gore that I get in this thing, so you know I'm happy.
I know you are.
Yeah, so he just casually dumps the acid on it. And then of course we get, oh my god, James Mason showing up and hypnotizing Agnes Moorehead, which there was a thing earlier where they said he tried to hypnotize David McCallum back in the day.
Yeah, but
I did
Dave
not
McCallum
expect it to be
awesome.
his thing though. You will take me to Victor Frankenstein's room.
Yeah, it's like this dropped reference from very early on, and then we're supposed to have remembered it. I did, but I mean, it was just sort of like, wow, okay. So he hypnotizes Agnes Moorehead to let him in to see what they're working on.
Yeah, and this is where he's looking around going like, the fool's still messing around with electricity.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and so he's all like, this is bad news, I tell you, bad news. And then, yeah, we get Victor Frankenstein freaking out and smashing shit because he can't solve why the process is reversing itself.
Right.
And he's like, God damn it. And then we get the creature not understanding what sadness is. Great. Poor Michael Cera. Once again, just poor Michael Sarrazin having to play these moments.
Yeah, he goes, Victor, what's wrong?
Yeah.
Why does water come from your eyes?
Basically, yeah. It turns into Terminator 2. Why does water leak from your eyes? The thing is, Schwarzenegger can sell those things.
And Schwarzenegger would have been an excellent creature because, again, Austrian.
Mm-hmm. Actually, my God, I'm now upset that it never happened.
It never happened, and now it's too late. Damn it, it's too late.
I am made from the bodies of dead people.
Dead bodybuilders.
It's rather morbid. Yeah, it's like, I wanted to be huge and full of muscle.
This guy here on the right, he knew what he was doing. This guy over here on the left, he neglected the arms.
That's right. One arm is much more pumped up than the other. Here's what they really didn't expect.
It take me quite some time to get them equal.
Here's what people really didn't expect with the Schwarzenegger impressions. They maybe were ready for Mason, but they were never expecting Schwarzenegger.
No.
I don't think we'll never get, he never did a monster movie. He did do the movie where he fought the devil.
Right.
End of Days. Oof.
End of Days. That was terrible.
That's one of his worst, yeah. That one.
But it did feature, as far as I know, his only sex scene to involve CG morphing.
Actually, he doesn't have a lot of sex scenes in general in his movies.
That's kind of true.
Yeah, he's more like
so
flirting.
Ladies, gentlemen, we think you know where to go for some of that sweet Schwarzenegger action. I was severely
disappointed by End of Days, though, because I was a huge Schwarzenegger fan as a kid, and I do remember that one being like, yikes.
Yep, it's a yikes.
Yeah, what are you doing, man?
It's no Eraser.
Oh, I do love me some Eraser.
Moving on.
Yeah, you want to hear my thoughts about Eraser and how awesome it is?
No, we should probably keep going. We're almost to the end.
So the creature's looking worse. Mm-hmm. And Victor's like, because he's like, books, Victor, teach me about books. And Victor's almost like, what's the point? You're ugly now.
You're ugly, and you're just going to get uglier, too.
The way he deteriorates looks so weird, too. Like, the makeup choices. He's getting kind of caveman-y.
Well, actually, Michael Sarrazin always did have that heavy brow, so they said, let's lean into that and just build it up.
But there's also the unibrow and stuff like that, and you're like,
yep.
Why and he gets that what him degrading looks like?
He gets these gross pock marks, and there's this thing where he goes to sleep, and that's the first that Victor sees of it happening to him, is that he sees these sort of like gross, mushroomy cysts or something on the back of his neck, and he's like, oh God, Victor's got it. He's going to deteriorate. And so, yeah, he just starts looking gross.
Yeah.
And also not understanding why Victor's pulling away from him.
Yeah. But I love you, Victor.
It's kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
What did I do, Daddy? Why don't you love me anymore?
Mm-hmm.
This got very emotional for me. I have to go.
He's doing that. Victor, meanwhile, goes to a priest and goes, all right, I'm going to tell you some shit I've been up to, and I just want to know, like, what do I have to do for God to forgive me for this? And then it cuts back. I love it. Just cut. There's a scene between where when it cuts back to the priest, he's like, "Ooh, boy, wow."
Well, he goes,
wow.
Well, what I like is he goes, so do you think that I can be saved or whatever? Is it terrible what I've done? He goes, Oh, it would be terrible if it was real.
Yeah.
Like the priest immediately goes kind of like, yeah, what you're saying is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't believe it at all.
I always wanted to do the Seinfeld thing where he's just like, good luck with all that. Ooh, boy, this is outside. It basically is like, if any of this is true, that is way beyond my pay grade.
Yeah, you're on your own.
Yeah. Why did that turn into Walter Matthau? You're on your own.
Well, it's because I was kind of doing the guy from Blazing Saddles,
Yeah.
and then it became Walter Matthau. I was like, "You're on your own." Is the guy from Blazing Saddles?
Felix.
Felix. Now it's garbage.
Oh my God, one of my favorite moments. It's linguine.
Of course.
Now it's garbage.
It's
yeah.
garbage.
Yeah.
Oh, Odd Couple. Come on.
Classic.
Come on.
Come on. So good. And while this is happening, the Agnes Moorehead goes in to clean things up and is so horrified by what she sees. Which I'm like, he doesn't look that horrific. I feel like, once again, the reaction would be more like, oh, God, what's happened to you?
Well, the reactions in this movie, based on what they're seeing, the reactions in this movie are unrealistically heightened because they are trying to sell this as horror.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the butterfly is not frightening.
No.
And she has already been told by Victor multiple times, my friend is not coming out of his room because he's very sick.
Yeah.
So yes, I can imagine if she sees him, it would be startling because he looks so much worse than he did. But why she would be scared to literal death by it doesn't make any sense. She would just go, "Oh my God, you are very sick. I am so sorry," and close the fucking door.
Dear God, this is.
It would be pity. Yes, you poor man. Instead, she fucking dies from fright because he has growths and looks bad.
Yeah,
and has a unibrow.
And so, when Victor comes home, he finds her dead and the creature gone, and he pretty quickly chases him down the streets. He's like, you got to come back with me. And it's like, yes, no, the landlady's dead. It's a real bummer, but still, you got to come back with me. We'll work through this together, buddy. And then the creature's asleep in the lab, and we do get Victor once again with the beaker of acid going, should I? It's going like, I don't know, man. That seems
this would be fairly quick, but it would be very painful.
Yeah, exactly. So he's debating throwing the acid on him. But then the creature wakes up and looks in a mirror, and basically we get the, I'm hideous.
Yeah, the creature finally is looking at his hands, looks at Victor's hands, sees the difference, looks for something reflective, sees his reflections, I'm no longer pretty.
I'm a monster. To reference.
And this is only, I think, the second time in one of these Frankenstein films where the creature attempts suicide.
Oh, yeah, because he immediately grabs, like a scalpel or whatever's around and just starts stabbing himself in the chest repeatedly.
Stabbing himself in the chest, which causes...
I actually did kind of dig that.
I did too, but what's weird is, it causes, it looks like nighttime NyQuil, sort of the grape flavor NyQuil.
Yeah, I was going to say,
come out of his chest.
Maybe sort of you drop
it's very
some red wine on you.
Yeah, but it's more purple, and I was like, that's odd consistency. But
it
he
did
is
make me really want a grape juice or like a grape soda. Actually,
yes. It's like, what is that? Like a crushed grape? Is that grape crush?
Grape crush. Now we're talking. Give me a grape crush. Give me a Welch's.
Welch's. These are all good. Knee-high grape, if you want to go old school.
Yeah. Sure.
Just like Radar O'Reilly loved on MASH.
Yes.
Great knee-high.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Deep cut.
The only
time I've
ever had that is in like vintage candy shops.
Yeah. Speaking of deep cuts, he does this, but it doesn't kill him. He's like, and he runs out, and Victor's like, no, wait, chases after him.
Yeah.
This
Chases
is what I love.
him.
Apparently.
They run out into a field where apparently this entire place has been right on the precipice of this cliff,
Yeah, apparently where they live is right there at Dover, because he literally runs to the White Cliffs of Dover.
Yep.
And he's like about to throw himself off, and Victor says no. And the creature turns around and looks at him like, really? Are we gonna be okay? And it's great. There's no words here. Victor just looks at him and kind of goes, yeah, you're right. I can't do anything to help you. So the creature goes,
no, wait,
okay.
Creature, don't you... Well, no, I guess you don't have that much to live for, do you?
I got nothing, really. So the creature turns around and says, thought so. He doesn't actually say it. And then he throws himself off. What's great, though, is we don't have to worry about the creature because it's actually a dummy. A large dummy is thrown off the cliff. It hits the water.
Yeah, and Victor's like, well, I guess that's the end of that.
Yep.
But
I
we
guess I'll go
follow
home.
it down and see he just kind of gets up.
He just surfaces and swims to shore.
And so
still
I will
with,
say,
a purple
I can
stain on his
definitively
shirt.
declare this has got to be the most powerful creature we've ever seen in a Frankenstein movie.
I will say that stabbing himself and throwing himself off a cliff. I mean, if the degeneration can't be stopped, I guess that would kill anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, he seems pretty invulnerable.
Yeah,
because he just gets out of the water and walks off down the beach. End of part 1, ladies and gentlemen.
End of part 1. But I do love the way he just sort of wanders off, like, oh, okay, that didn't work. I guess I'll just. I
wonder what's down here.
Yeah.
I like the idea that maybe he has like a goldfish memory. He's just like going, "What's over here?"
Yeah.
Doop doop doop. He doesn't even remember he used to be pretty. He doesn't remember that there's a Victor Frankenstein.
All right, then.
Ooh, driftwood in the shape of a horsey.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's it.
Yeah, that's it, folks.
Unfortunately, we got more coming next week.
Yeah, we unfortunately are obligated to watch part 2 because, like I said, I would have been like, I will not be tuning in next week. But
next week we get Tom Baker, and from the little thing that we see, it looks like he'll probably end up playing the ship's captain that will pick up Frankenstein at the end of the story.
Well, he is credited on IMDb as ship's captain, so that would make sense.
Okay, then all right, and we will eventually get the lovely Jane Seymour, who's going to make everything okay.
Jane Seymour.
I'm sorry, 1973 Jane Seymour. I don't think she had competition.
No.
In my book, one of the most beautiful creatures that God ever put on the earth.
And kind of still is.
I know.
I mean, very much so. She's still just absolutely stunning. I mean, she looks older.
Those genes,
dear
those
God.
were good genes.
I mean, look.
But anyway,
Live and Let Die. We'll hear about it next week because it's one of my favorite Bond movies. And
yeah, mine too.
Oh, that's a great one. And certainly, maybe arguably the best Bond song.
Oh God, man, that song.
To live and let die.
Even with the reggae in it, it's still one of the best Bond themes of all time.
Oh yeah.
What does it matter to you
when
you got a job to do? You gotta do it well.
You gotta give the other fella hell. So good.
Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop,
so good. Anyway, you'll hear more about that next week, I'm sure.
And you'll hear more of me singing it. So until next week, this has been John Campbell.
And Brendan Jones.
Oh, wait.
And we've met the monsters.
And don't forget, there are such things as monsters.
That's how bad this movie is. It's all topsy-turvy over here.
We did a flippy-flu.
Flippity-flu.
Oh, and also... Figaro?
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 Figaro.
All right, we're done.